The number one trait that the Gryffindor house stands for is bravery. That is pretty much what defines the house and the people sorted into it. With that being said, I thought it would be fun to evaluate all of the Gryffindor characters and see how they match up to that defining trait. I put together a list of 42 characters, and today we're going to rank their bravery on a tier list. The different tiers go as follows: the bravest, brave, average, not brave, and coward. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button. It will greatly help with the algorithm for the channel, meaning I can make more fun videos like this one. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on my socials, all of which are linked down below. Now, let's get into it and rank the Gryffindor characters. Oliver Wood. I would put Oliver in the brave tier. He not only committed his life to playing a very dangerous game, but he also took on the role of captain, knowing that the entire house would blame him more than any other player if they lost. On top of that, he came back to Hogwarts to fight in the final battle against Voldemort. So between being captain, starting a pro career playing Quidditch, and returning to Hogwarts for the final battle, he to me cracks the brave tier. Sir Cadogan. This might surprise some people, but he's going in the bravest tier. While living, he was one of the Knights of the Round Table with Merlin, whom he had befriended in the Middle Ages. Cadogan's fight with the Wyvern of Wye is what really makes him be in this tier though, because the first time he fought the dragon-like beast, his horse was killed, his sword, wand, and visor were all destroyed, and Cadogan just barely escaped with his life. Most would give up here, but Cadogan's insane bravery had him go back, and he rode a fat pony while brandishing a broken wand and somehow won the fight. Angelina Johnson. I would say that Angelina is also in the brave tier, which again might surprise some people. She, like Oliver, played the dangerous game of Quidditch, and she too became captain of the team, which again takes on all of the responsibility of a loss. On top of that, she too returned to participate in the Battle of Hogwarts like Oliver. But the thing that's actually going to make me put her ahead of Oliver here is the fact that she tried to enter the Triwizard Tournament. Entering that tournament takes a ton of bravery, which I think warrants her being ahead of Oliver when paired with everything else I listed. Seamus Finnegan. Seamus is just average for me. He didn't do too much in the series that was very brave. The most he did was try out for the Quidditch team and he didn't make it, and he also joined the DA, but he did this very late. He was in the Battle of Hogwarts, but the most he did was cast a Patronus charm with 2 other people, so to me, he's just average. Remus Lupin. Lupin showed some cowardly traits as a student, first not having the bravery to tell his friends that he was a werewolf, and even more, he didn't have the bravery to stand up to his friends and tell them to stop bullying, despite the fact that he hated when they did this, and despite the fact that it was literally his job to do this as a prefect. However, in his adulthood, Lupin joined the Order of the Phoenix 2 different times, both for the First and Second Wizarding War. He took on some of the most dangerous tasks the Order had to offer, like going underground as a spy among the werewolves. This showed even more bravery, as he was risking seeing the werewolf's leader Fenrir Greyback, the very man that bit Remus as a kid to make him a werewolf. If we look at just Remus's childhood, I would say he goes in the not brave tier, but as an adult, I would say he's in the bravest tier, so I'm going to put Remus in just the brave tier. I think his bravery as an adult outdoes his unbrave actions as a kid, so he skips over average and goes to the second highest tier. Arthur Weasley. Arthur is going in the brave tier, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty close to putting him in the average tier. This is because most of his moments in the books are either him being told what to do by his wife or being scared of his wife. He didn't do anything in the Battle of Hogwarts that was noteworthy, but he did show up, so that's a small reason why he's in the brave tier. And he also got points because he helped fight the Death Eaters at the Quidditch World Cup. But the main reason why he falls in this tier is because of his work guarding the prophecy for the Order of the Phoenix, which of course led to him getting attacked by Nagini. So although Arthur is rather cowardly when it comes to his wife, he's still going in the brave tier. Natsai Onai. If you haven't played Hogwarts Legacy yet, here's a spoiler warning, skip to whatever time is on the screen. Natsai, or Natty, is going in the bravest tier. She risked her life to put a stop to Harlow, Rookwood's right hand, many times, and when it came down to it, she bravely jumped in front of Harlow's blast to save us in her Animagus form. And let's be real, she didn't know what spell it was going to be. It very well could have been the Killing Curse, meaning she was brave enough to possibly let herself die. It ended up being the Torture Curse, but the way she risked her life to save ours definitely puts her in the bravest tier in my eyes. Percy Weasley. Percy is the first one going below average. He had zero bravery when it came to the treatment of his family. After he knew he was wrong for taking the ministry's side over his own family, everybody thought he was going to come back when the ministry was proven wrong, but Percy was too cowardly to face them. For an entire 2 years, he was too scared to admit that he was wrong and was too scared to acknowledge that they were right, putting his mother and father through absolute hell. The only thing that kept him out of the bottom tier was the fact that he eventually did return to his family and helped them fight in the Battle of Hogwarts. Cormac McLaggen. Cormac would like to think that he's the bravest, but I think he's just an average Gryffindor. He played Quidditch but was never captain, so he never had the weight of the team on his back the way Wood, Angelina, and Harry did. So just an average Gryffindor. Hermione Granger. Hermione is obviously the bravest. She faced so many horrifying things and always kept going without question. She not only went down to get the stone in the first installment, but went back in time to save Sirius and Buckbeak, went to the Department of Mysteries to again save Sirius, fought in the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, and faced so much as she left school to go hunt Horcruxes and defeat Voldemort, not to mention that she was a leading force in the Battle of Hogwarts. She definitely deserves to be in the top tier. Demelza Robbins. Demelza was a chaser on the Gryffindor Quidditch team when Harry was captain, and she's just average. She didn't do anything special, but she didn't have any actions that would put her below that tier. James Potter. James is going in the bravest tier solely because of his final act. A wandless James watched Voldemort break into their home, and he told Lily to take Harry and run while he held the most dangerous dark wizard to ever live off without the ability to use magic. I think he earned a spot in the top tier for that. Peter Pettigrew. Pettigrew is going in the coward tier at the very bottom, which I pretty much only made for him. He's not just the most cowardly character in Gryffindor, but possibly in the whole series. He constantly hid behind people who were more powerful than him. First it was the Marauders, and then it was Voldemort. On top of that, every movement, every word he speaks, everything he does just invokes cowardice. He was so cowardly that he spent 13 years as a freaking rat. Who would want to do that? He definitely deserves to be in the bottom tier. I really don't even know how he was sorted into Gryffindor in the first place. Molly Weasley. Molly is going in the brave tier. She joined the Order of the Phoenix, but didn't take on too many dangerous jobs as she was at home taking care of the family. However, Molly stepping up to Bellatrix and killing her had to put her in this tier. That being said though, that's really the only brave thing that she did, so I couldn't put her any higher. But remember, that's not a knock on her. She was a great mother, making sure her family was alright at home. That in itself is special and honestly outdoes bravery in my book. Nearly Headless Nick. Nick is going in the not brave tier. This is because of his fear of death, which he himself admitted to Harry at the end of the 5th book. Most people do fear this, but Nick went a step farther. Before dying, he had gone out of his way to ensure that he did not go on when he died. He instead opted to become a ghost for the rest of time. This to me is very unbrave, and I think it warrants him being below average compared to other Gryffindors. Jimmy Peaks. Jimmy was another player on Harry's Gryffindor Quidditch team, and not much is known about him other than the fact that he played beater, so I'm going to put him in the average tier. Dean Thomas. Dean is going in the brave tier. The main thing that made me put him here was what he did in the final battle. He played a bigger role than most as he fought a number of strong opponents like Anton and Dolohov and Travers, some of the most deadly Death Eaters in the series. This to me warrants him being above his friend Seamus, who as I said pretty much only cast a Patronus charm during the battle. So Dean is going in the brave tier. Ron Weasley. Ron is obviously in the bravest tier. He, like Hermione, faced so many dangerous obstacles and never backed down. His heroics with a chessboard was so brave, not to mention facing the Acromantulas, renditions of Ron's greatest fear spiders. And there are so many other brave tasks, like going to the Department of Mysteries, hunting Horcruxes, and playing a huge role in the Battle of Hogwarts. He belongs in the top tier. Romilda Vane. Romilda is going in the average tier. She's just a normal Gryffindor, but she might be closer to the next tier than a lot of others in the middle solely because of her bravery going up to talk to Harry and also having the bravery to slip him a love potion, but I certainly don't think that warrants her being in the brave tier. She's just average. Minerva McGonagall. McGonagall is an obvious to go in the top tier. She's one of the bravest characters in the series, facing so many different threats, from the Aurors that tried to arrest Hagrid, which actually left her hospitalized, to making Death Eaters run in fear of her during the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, and of course facing so many Death Eaters during the Battle of Hogwarts, including fighting Snape, who she knew was incredibly skilled. McGonagall is for sure in the bravest tier. Katie Bell. Katie is going in the average tier. She was never a Quidditch captain, and although she did show up for the Battle of Hogwarts, she did not do anything noteworthy. Although I will give her credit, it took guts to show up to the fight even after she graduated. She didn't have to be there. George Weasley. George is going in the bravest tier. Semi-destroying the school before his grand exit took a lot of bravery, and just breaking school rules in general and pulling pranks throughout his entire time of Hogwarts also shows a lot of bravery. However, the thing that really showed off how brave he is and also how resilient he is the fact that he kept fighting in the final battle even after losing his twin brother, and he even took down Yaxley in the end, a very powerful Death Eater. Fred Weasley. Fred is also going in the brave tier for many of the same reasons, especially fighting in the Battle of Hogwarts and facing the imperious Minister of Magic Pius Thicknesse moments before he lost his life. Sirius Black. Sirius is going in the brave tier because throughout his character arc, there is a lot of recklessness, whether it was during his childhood or in his adulthood, and that recklessness for me translates to bravery. He recklessly went to the Department of Mysteries where he lost his life. However, while recklessness to me is bravery, I think it's a weaker form of bravery, so that's why he didn't crack the top tier. Neville Longbottom. Neville started out as sort of a coward, always having the worst things happen to him. However, even in the first book, he showed bravery by standing up to the trio, and this bravery that had always been there would just become more and more prevalent until he became arguably the bravest character to participate in the Battle of Hogwarts. He stood up to Voldemort himself, and he became incredibly important when he killed Nagini, the final Horcrux. Dennis Creevey. Not much is known about Dennis, Colin Creevey's younger brother, so I'll just put him in the average tier. Lavender Brown. Lavender is going in the average tier. I hate to be that guy given how her story ended up, but she didn't do that many brave things. She joined the DA, but so did many others who were in the average tier. And she did fight in the Battle of Hogwarts where she probably lost her life, but she didn't die fighting. She accidentally fell from a balcony and landed next to Greyback, who most likely killed her. So yeah, it's a sad and dark take, but I think she's just average. Harry Potter. Harry is in the bravest tier, and I'm going to put him at the very front. He is the bravest character in the series in my eyes. He faced so much at such a young age, from Voldemort to Voldemort and Quirrell, to Tom Riddle, to a freaking Basilisk, Dementors, all of the tasks in the Triwizard Tournament, Voldemort again, this time accompanied by his Death Eaters, everything in the Department of Mysteries, Inferi, and so much more. The list goes on and on. I feel like I don't even have to argue anymore. I think all of you agree with me that Harry is the bravest character in the series. Bill Weasley. Bill is going in the bravest tier as well, as he put his life in danger by fighting in the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, and even after almost dying and getting his face mauled by Greyback, he put himself in danger again months after that when he participated in the Battle of Seven Potters, and he also participated in the Battle of Hogwarts, the very place where his injury happened just a year before that. To be able to bounce back from something so traumatizing and so scarring shows an insane amount of bravery and really makes me say he belongs in the top tier. Gareth Weasley. Again, a spoiler for Hogwarts Legacy. This one is a much smaller one, but it's still a spoiler. Skip to whatever time is on the screen. I'm going to argue that Gareth Weasley should be in the not brave tier. His main arc in Hogwarts Legacy saw him being too much of a coward to go steal a feather he needed for himself, instead enlisting us to go find it for him. That to me makes him below average. Albus Dumbledore. Dumbledore is a tough one because he's honestly a coward in a lot of ways. He was too cowardly to fight Grindelwald, the man he loved, and this cowardice made him put the fight off, killing too many people to count. He was also too cowardly to tell Harry the truth about the prophecy, again because of love, which really hurt Harry. At the same time though, Dumbledore is one of the bravest characters during the 7 books, never being fearful of any challenge ahead of him, including death I might add. So with that being said, although he has cowardly tendencies, I'm putting him above average going in the brave tier, but he cannot go any higher than that. Charlie Weasley. Charlie is definitely in the brave tier solely because of his job working with dragons. To wake up every day knowing you're about to work with some of the most dangerous creatures in the wizarding world, that takes a lot of bravery. Alicia Spinnet. I would say that Alicia is just average. She returned to Hogwarts for the final battle, but didn't do anything noteworthy, so to me, she's middle range. Ginny Weasley. Ginny is going in the bravest tier as she faced a ton of tough things from an early age, but never let it get to her. Also, just going through the final 3 books, she fought in the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, and the Battle of Hogwarts, and played a pretty big role in all of them. so to me, she definitely deserves to be in the top tier. Colin Creevey. Colin is going in the brave tier mainly because of what he did in the final book. Even though he was too young to participate in the battle, he snuck off to help in the fight, which ultimately took his life. He went out as a brave hero. Parvati Patil. Parvati, who in the books is Gryffindor while her sister Padma was in Ravenclaw, even though the movies changed this, she's going in the average tier. She didn't do many brave things. She joined the DA, but so did many others, and she didn't really do anything in the final battle, so to me, she's just average. Lee Jordan. Lee is going in the brave tier not only because of his risky and legendary pranks with the twins, but also because he played a bigger role than most in the final battle as he dueled Yaxley and with the help of George took him down. Lily Evans. Lily is going in the bravest tier as she not only joined the Order of the Phoenix but faced Voldemort on 3 different occasions according to the prophecy, including her final act of jumping in front of his killing curse and dying to save her only son. This sacrifice took the most bravery a character can have in my book. Rubeus Hagrid. Hagrid is going in the bravest tier. Facing so many massive and dangerous creatures on the regular like Hagrid does takes a lot of bravery. He also wanders in the Forbidden Forest, oftentimes knowing he's not wanted there and shows no fear. On top of that, his mission to go recruit the giant with Maxime took perhaps the most bravery out of all the missions we saw in the series. James S. Potter, Lily L. Potter, and Rose Granger Weasley. Harry's son James is going in the average tier because we just don't know much about him, and the same goes for Harry's daughter Lily and also Ron and Hermione's daughter Rose. And here is the final tier list with every Gryffindor ranked from the least brave to the most brave. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on my list. I'd love to hear your opinions, but please let's try to keep the comments friendly both to me and also others. We've had some problems in the comment section recently, so please let's just be friendly. That's all I have for you guys this week though, so I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can follow me on Instagram to see more of my personal life, like my cute dog Loki, and some behind the scenes movie flame stuff. I also do similar content on TikTok and Twitter that I do here on this channel, so if you like what I do here, check them out. All the handles are right below me, and links are in the description. Over here are my wonderful patrons. If you want to be featured on the next video, plus get a few other perks, become a patron today. As always, if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe, and look out for more great movie flame videos on the way.